What would your pet say if we were to ask it for a reference?
My dog, I wouldn't say my dog hates me. Let's not get to there. But he definitely doesn't have a good reference to me because, like, my dog tends to focus. He's a very angry dog. He's only a baby, so he doesn't really understand. But he, I bet if he, got interviewed, all he would think about is all the times I've taken his toy away or all the times that, I've, not given him any of my food. He wouldn't think about all the times that I bought him a new toy or all the times that I, gave him dog food or any of that stuff or, played with him or anything. He would probably just think about, oh, this is the guy that took away my toy that one time. He's a jerk. So that's probably about the general idea.
If practice makes perfect, but nobody is perfect, then what's the point of practice?
I think just general improvement. I don't practice to make myself perfect. I practice to improve what I can. I don't think anybody can ever be perfect. If I became perfect at something, I think I would begin to hate that thing. If there was a game where I just sat the controller down and did nothing and gained points, I'd be perfect at it, but I wouldn't like the game because it'd be boring. So I guess I don't think practice makes perfect. I think it makes improvement.
So, next question of this set. Why do they put flotation devices under airplane seats instead of parachutes?
I don't think parachutes would work as well. More than likely... Okay, here's my personal opinion. More than likely, you usually would, fall in the water. Because usually you're over water. And so if you have a parachute, when you hit the water, it's probably going to fall over you, and you're going to have no way to climb out of it or get it off you, because it's connected to you, and continuously, this parachute that's over you, you're struggling to get out or whatever, and it's just stuck on top of you. Also, if you land on land, if you're in a flotation seat, it wouldn't really work well. Especially if you're on land. If you're on land, you're probably gonna die in a plane crash anyways. But then it wouldn't even help then having a parachute because you probably get it stuck in a tree or stuck in a building somewhere, and then you would fall to your death eventually. So I think it just would be pointless.
Okay. If we live in a man-made world, then why can't we remake it?
I think it brings back to the analogy of if you have an old boat and it's you've been in your boat for years, but the boat it started to decrease in value, boards are chipped and sails are ripped and stuff like that. So you decide, well, I'm gonna replace this one board with a new board. So you replace it with a brand new thing of board. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to replace the sail with a new sail. So you replace it with a brand new sail. And you start replacing everything on the boat. And eventually you put in the very last new board. And so you have this beautiful boat. But is it still your old boat at this point? Because it's still the shape of your old boat. I mean, all this stuff is it. But then again, it's made of pieces that your old boat wasn't even made of in the first place. So it's kind of one of those ideas of if we remade the world, first of all, it would take tremendous effort. But if we remade it, we can never remake the world because if we remake it, it just turns into a completely different planet in the first place. I think we have to I think we have to take responsibility with our own actions and redo mistakes that we have. I don't think we can redo the entire planet because there's still some good things here.
Okay. And then the last question of this set. If you wrote a book about failure and it didn't sell, would it be a success?
No, because in general, I feel like if you're writing a book about failure, you subconsciously you're trying one last ditch attempt to be a success by spreading the message about your failures and how they happened. And so you're trying to spread the message of this is how I went about it and it didn't work, so this is how you should go about it. And then when people don't even follow that, that's when you know it's true failure.
All right, and that was my last of that 5, so we both have one question left.
Yep. Okay, my last question for you, just a little thing to test you. How would you rate your memory?
It's pretty good, because when I know that I have to memorize something, excellent. But when I don't, who knows?
All right. That being said, what was the first question I asked you?
Your boy. You asked me something about cereal.
I did.
You asked me what kind of cereal I am.
That was the second one. You're close.
Okay.
It was what's your favorite cereal?
Oh, of course. It was what's my
Yep.
favorite
So
cereal.
that's all I got from mine.
Okay. My question, last question. How did you meet your best friend?
Well, I was sitting in GTT class, beginning of 8th grade, and I'm just sitting there like waiting for class to start. You know, like I'm just some like anxious middle schooler. You know, I'm ready for high school at this point, but like I still have to go through 8th grade year. And this new kid walks in through the front door. He's kind of like tall. He's wearing a green like long sleeve shirt. Got short brown hair, and he like looks like not angry, but just doesn't want anybody to talk to him and doesn't want to talk to anybody. He walks in the room like carrying his stuff, you know, very serious face, and sits down in like a desk on the other side of the room by this computer. Doesn't talk to anybody. Doesn't mention his name or anything. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting, because I'm like, most people at least they like start talking to people, or you know, like try to like let people know who they are and all that stuff. And and it was kind of interesting to see somebody be like, I don't care about you, I'm here for me. And boom. Later that day, I get to English class, which I like English. You know, I'm going for college for English, and so at that time I didn't know it, but I liked writing stuff. I knew I really liked writing stuff. So I sit down, and I'm in the back row, and this guy that was in my GTT class earlier, he ends up being placed with me at this table. And I look over, and he has his notebooks open, and one of the notebooks has a giant story written in it. And I'm like, oh, you like writing? And like he kind of closes his notebook. He's just like, oh, well, like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, yeah, I love writing. And then we start talking and start getting to know each other, which was the thing that he wouldn't have even done in the first class. And we start connecting after that. The next day, we start talking more. Eventually, we start, I think, becoming friends. And then eventually, like, we are friends, and it's pretty cool. And I realized I relate with this guy more than I thought. And that's how I became friends with you, Derek. So I think that's a good way to end it.
It is. You forgot to get out the ring and propose, though.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
All right. Well, that's been an interview sesh with me and Derek. I would say hope you enjoyed this as a YouTube video. Honestly, I don't care if you enjoyed. This is for me and him. So, all right.
Damn straight.
See ya.